5 head-to-head tests decide FLUX or Ideogram for good. FLUX is Black Forest Labs' fast, photorealistic model, and Ideogram is the one built to get text right inside an image, headlines, logos, labels. Quality, speed, pricing, style consistency, and platform limits each get their own test and their own winner. The score gets tallied after every single test, so nothing is decided until the last one is finished. And the tool with the most wins by the end is not the obvious pick. Test 1 covers output quality. Get this one wrong and you hand off images that look off, skin that reads plastic instead of real, or a poster with a headline turned into gibberish. Either mistake sinks a client deliverable or a class project just the same. FLUX built its name on photorealism and sticking close to the actual prompt. Ideogram built its name on the thing FLUX still struggles with, getting readable text inside the image itself. A headline, a logo, a label that doesn't turn into scribbles. Artificial analysis runs blind, side by side, votes between models. On its quality setting, Ideogram 4.0 currently leads the open weight rankings with an ELO of 1211, just ahead of FLUX. Dev at 1196. That's a crowdsourced blind vote, so call it a strong signal, not gospel. One-sided designer evaluation pushes it further. It picked Ideogram 4.0 as the best output, 47.9% of the time against 15.5% for FLUX. Max, though that's one study, not the full arena. Neither tool tops the chart outright. Both sit behind OpenAI's GPT Image 2, which tops the same arena at an ELO of 1340. This fight is just for best in their own weight class, not the overall crown. Test 1 goes to Ideogram, and if you've pushed text-heavy prompts through both yourself, drop a comment on whether that matches what you've seen. Speed is where FLUX usually claws a lead back. 1 for Ideogram, 0 for FLUX. My name is Brian, and I'm in these tools 12 hours a day, so you don't have to be. Test 2 covers generation speed. Batch a big project overnight, and the slower tool eats your whole timeline before you even wake up. FLUX moves fast. FLUX 1.1 Pro renders a full image in roughly 4 to 8 seconds, and the distilled Schnell tier can spit one out in under 2. Ideogram V3 runs closer to 8 to 12 seconds per generation on comparable settings, numbers that shift by provider and tier. One of the biggest problems I run into when using AI agents is turning their output into YouTube content I can actually use to market my product. That's why this video is sponsored by Subscriber, a tool that helps business owners connect their AI agents to YouTube and market their products without spending 10 hours every week creating content. You can connect Claude or ChatGPT directly to Subscriber. It then analyzes your business, website, and YouTube channel to help you create SEO-optimized video ideas, scripts, thumbnails, and even complete videos that actually match your brand. What I like most is that every week, Subscriber gives me a list of high-potential video ideas I can immediately execute, and it can even help edit videos for me, with or without my face, including videos like the one you're watching right now. It's easy to get started, and you can try Subscriber for free using the link in the description below. Now back to the video. One benchmark puts the gap even wider. It clocks FLUX at about 4 seconds against Ideogram's 20, with a 100 image batch finishing in under 7 minutes versus over 33. Treat that gap as directional since it's one source's test, not repeated elsewhere. Either way, the direction doesn't change. Test 2 goes to FLUX, tying the score at 1 apiece, and the next one uncovers a number neither company puts on its homepage. Test 3 covers pricing and credits. Commit to a plan on the sales page, numbers alone, and the cost per image can end up double what that page implied. FLUX runs pay as you go, no subscription, no seat fee. Vendor-listed FLUXed pricing was checked against Black Forest Labs' own site in late July 2026. It puts Klein at around 1.50 pennies per image, Pro at 3 cents, FLUX at 5 cents, and Max at 7 cents. Ideogram works differently. The free plan gives 10 slow credits a week, no card required. Paid plans run $8 for 400 credits, $20 for 1,000, or $60 for 3,500. The number that changes the math is the jump between versions. A default image cost 1 credit on Ideogram 3.0, roughly 2 cents. The same default tier costs 4 credits on Ideogram 4.0, roughly 8 cents, a 4 times jump on the exact same subscription. Comparing the top tiers directly, FLUX Max at 7 cents still undercuts Ideogram 4.0's quality tier at 10 cents. Test 3 goes to FLUX, making it 2 for FLUX, one for Ideogram. But a cheap tool that can't hold a consistent look is still a bad deal. Stick with me because the last 4 tests are where this decision actually flips. Test 4 covers style control and consistency. Nail a character or a brand look once, then fail to reproduce it. Your whole set ends up looking like it came from 10 different artists instead of one project. Ideogram's character reference feature takes a reference photo, automatically masks the face and hair, and lets you adjust that mask to keep the same person recognizable across new scenes. A separate style reference mode locks in a vibe instead of a face, for when that's what you need. FLUX and Context handles character, object, and style reference through text and image prompting, with no fine-tuning required. Black Forest Labs claims up to a 40% cut in identity drift versus earlier models on their own context benchmark. That's a vendor claim on the vendor's own benchmark, so treat it as unverified rather than settled. Test 4 is a tie. Ideogram's masking is the more guided, beginner-friendly path, and FLUX's context tools go further, handling broader edits beyond just locking in a face. One test is left to decide whether either tool fits into how you work day to day. Score stays 2-1 for FLUX, with a tie now sitting on the board. Test 5 covers platform availability and limits. Build a whole workflow around one of these tools, then hit a rate limit or a licensing wall halfway through a project. Now you're stuck renegotiating or rebuilding from scratch. FLUX is available from Black Forest Labs API and through more than 50 third-party platforms. Together AI, Replicate, FLUX, and FreePick among them. Its lower tiers are open weight too, so you can self-host them. Ideogram is mostly a single Surface product, a web app, and one official API, with no official Android app. Its published default rate limit sits at 10 in-flight requests, and going past, that means a direct conversation with their partnership team, not a self-serve upgrade. There's one honest gap here. FLUX doesn't publish a specific rate limit number the way Ideogram does, so that comparison isn't apples to apples. Test 5 goes to FLUX. That's 3 for FLUX, 1 for Ideogram, with one tie sitting in between. FLUX earned its wins on speed, pricing, and platform reach. The 3 tests that compound the harder you push either tool, plus the edge on photorealism. It scales cheaply and plugs into almost anywhere you already work. Ideogram earned its win on output quality in the blind vote data, mostly on text rendering, and held its own on style control with a guided character tool. Its strength shows up the moment a project needs real words inside the picture, not just around it. Now, FLUX earned its wins on speed, pricing, and platform reach. The 3 tests that compound the harder you push either tool, plus the edge on photorealism. It scales cheaply and plugs into almost anywhere you already work. Ideogram earned its win on output quality in the blind vote data, mostly on text rendering, and held its own on style control with a guided character tool. Its strength shows up the moment a project needs real words inside the picture, not just around it. If the work involves real text inside the image, posters, packaging, headline mock-ups, pick Ideogram. It topped the blind vote arena and won that designer study on that strength, and no amount of FLUX speed fixes garbled letters. If the work is general purpose, photorealistic, and needs to run at volume, on a budget inside a pipeline you already have, pick FLUX. The overall default pick here is FLUX, and that's the twist most people miss after watching Ideogram take the first test. Most day-to-day work, thumbnails, mockups, product shots, class projects, doesn't need text baked into the image. And those are the tests that matter most once you're doing this at any real scale: speed, price, and where it can run. One thing the docs don't spell out is this. Ideogram's free tier has been cut repeatedly without announcement. 25 credits a day, then 20, then 10 a day, and now just 10 a week. Slow queue waits stretched to 20 minutes for some users in January 2025, and free tier images sit public in the Explore feed with no way to delete them. FLUX has its own version of this, FLUX Down. Devs' weights are free to download, but the license only covers non-commercial use. Self-hosting it inside a commercial product means going back to Black Forest Labs for a separate paid license. An easy step to miss since the model gets marketed as open. FLUX and Ideogram each have limits Midjourney doesn't share. The next video puts Midjourney against FLUX directly, same 5 tests, to see if the market leader holds up once you time it and price it out.